Now I'd like to invite our salutatorian up to say a few words. He will be attending Roanoke College next year, Daniel Osborne.
Good afternoon, friends, family, comrades, brothers, and sisters. 3 weeks ago, I sat down to write this speech, and it was, as I recall, a very rainy night, and I remember sitting at my desk with the lights out, trying to conjure words that would fit the standards for today's commencement. Now, I sat and typed for what seems like hours now, yet I could not seem to find satisfactory words, and what I typed that night fell onto the page and was soon forgotten. Now, I left my speech that night unfinished and hardly even started. But then, after spending a day with my closest friends out on the Haw River just next door, 2 weeks ago, following the awards ceremony at the school, I experienced what I would call a moment of realization. There was, as it turned out, no speech for me to write. The speech had already been written. Now, if I did not write this speech, you may ask, who were the authors? The authors, I reply, were the teachers, students, and friends that greeted me at school every day with kind words of encouragement and humor. The authors were my family members who grounded my life in a firm network of support and love. It was these individuals who have written the speech for me. They've given me its content, and I've merely organized it for formal presentation. And so in order to honor the time constraints of today's commencement ceremony, I will not further delay the recognition of those who have had a profound impact on my life, the true authors of this speech. First, I turn to my family. I submit the greatest amount of gratitude to my mother and father for challenging me to always hold myself accountable for my actions and to accept the consequences of my deeds, both positive and negative. Without my parents at my side, I would have never been able to muster the courage to set foot in Hawbridge on that first sunny day of school those 3 years ago. I thank my mother for her strong will, timeless wisdom, and enduring patience, and her ability to raise myself and my 2 siblings. Her selflessness was shown to me, and her willingness to act as a chauffeur through years of baseball games, piano recitals, 4-H events, and various other extracurricular endeavors. I love you, Mom, and I'm proud to be your son. I thank my father for his steadfast moral example. His strong determination to live what Aristotle called the good life has been contagious and has made itself at home within my own heart. My father taught me that being good is doing the right thing even when no one's looking. He taught me the importance of doing things for other people without the expectation of being repaid or compensated. And though try as I might, his moral example is one that I believe I may only achieve in my dreams. I thank my sister Sarah for her tenacity and kindness. It was my sister who was my first musical partner. Sarah introduced me to the rhythms and sounds that I've come to love and cherish, and I thank her for this timeless gift to me, the gift of music, a gift that will no doubt be with me as long as I live. To Will, my brother, partner in crime, roommate of 16 years, my best friend, and worst enemy. Of all the adjustments that will occur in college, my separation from you will be one of the most difficult to come to terms with. And Will, I thank you for humoring me when I asked you to come to Hawbridge my senior year so that we could experience the school together. After 2 years of pleading, you finally gave in, and I thank you. And you're welcome. To my grandparents, Nana, Papa, and grandmother, thank you for the example you've set for me, the unconditional support, and of course, childhood memories that brought a smile to my face as I recall them during the creation of this speech, and as I recall them now. Thank you for teaching me the history of my family. It has been you, my grandparents, who've taught me that you can't know where you're going without first knowing where you've been. I turn now to my Hawbridge family. Hawbridge, for me, is another home. A place where the faculty were passionate and humorous, learned and kind. A place where the students worked in great cooperation and understanding with each other. A place where I found friends of a higher caliber than I have ever known. Friends that have acted as guides as I try to navigate this often confusing station in life. In the final stretches of my senior year, these individuals ensured that, While I may at times feel overwhelmed by the future that awaits me after Hawbridge, I am not lonely. And now I recognize dear members of my Hawbridge family. To Dr. Hughes, I give you the greatest thanks for being such an ardent advocate for the school and creating an environment that is truly enriching to the lives of all who enter it. Without the hard work that you and Victor have so selflessly performed for many years, Hawbridge would not be the same school that I know and love today. To both of you, thank you for your service to the school and your commitment to the noble enterprise of education. From where I'm standing, it's all paid off tenfold. The teachers I had at Hawbridge were all very wonderful people with qualified minds and kind demeanors. I thank them for always greeting me in the morning with words of cheer. And I thank them for helping me to obtain an education that will prepare me for college and my life beyond. To Mr. Akasha Musa at my side, my history teacher and good friend, of all my memories at Hawbridge, the many hours of sharing a free period with you are among my most cherished. And when I tell my friends about Hawbridge, the friends that I have that are not so fortunate as to be students at Hawbridge, I find myself relaying tales which involve you in some way or another. It has filled me with great pride to say that I have a teacher who is an activist, athlete, and most importantly, one of my best friends. Your astute wit, keen insight, and sharp mind will be a fixture in my life that I will miss greatly. And just as you did to me, I have some words of advice for you. Right. The music was okay. I've driven with you, and it was tolerable. You can be acquitted on that charge. My parting advice to you is simple, Mr. Musa. First, when times are tough and when you do experience failure, take heart. There's always money in the banana stand. Secondly, actually, I don't remember what was second. But that's why you always leave a note. These are all jokes from the television show Arrested Development, which Mr. Musa enjoys very much, as well as I do. This speech would not be complete without mention of Mr. Neil Beers. As my first teacher at Hawbridge 3 years ago, Mr. Beers invited me into the world of philosophy and debate that has become an essential component of my life today. His philosophy course taught me just what Socrates meant when he said that the unexamined life is not worth living. Though Mr. Beers is not in this room with us today, I thank him for his invaluable contribution to my life. Before I surrender the podium, there are a few more individuals who deserve words of praise and gratitude for the role they played in the creation of this speech. I wish to thank my cousin and classmate, Guy Smith. Guy, it's such a comfort to have you in my life, and I'm thankful that we are family as well as friends. Knowing that you would be by my side at Hawbridge eased my anxiety about coming to the school those 3 short years ago, and it's been a joy to share high school with you, and I can hardly believe that this chapter in our friendship has come to an end. For my friends Jonah Cleaver, Gavin Maddock, and Dylan Wallen, my bandmates, I'm glad I had the chance to play music with you guys. Pass the Biscuits has become a story that I will recall to my children with a smile on my face, as I am now. Jonah, as a true embodiment of the dude, you hold a calm and relaxed demeanor that has grounded me as I undergo the hectic times of being a senior. After knowing you for almost 4 years, I am convinced that indeed, the dude truly does abide. Gavin and Dylan, you two are destined for musical greatness, and I had the pleasure of saying that I knew and jammed with both of you. The music was real, and it was fun. And as I would say, yes, it was real fun. To Tucker Hewitt and Sierra Bradshaw Kramer, I consider myself very fortunate indeed to have been able to make your acquaintance for the past 2 school years in high school. I've shared many laughs with the two of you, and your brand of friendship has helped me maintain sanity, despite what I may have led you to believe on more than one occasion. To Abigail Gregson, Abby, a year ago, as I was being a nighthawk late on a Saturday night, I talked to you for the first time. That night, I had no way of knowing that I had initiated what would be the start of a wonderful friendship that has brought great joy to my time at Hawbridge. Your intelligence and knack for good discussion has been a delightful part of my life, and a welcome distraction from the turbulent times of being a high school senior. In a time when much of my future was up in the air, you provided advice and counsel. It saddens me that I will no longer hold the role of being your classmate, but I do not despair, for I know that, though I may be leaving, our friendship will endure far beyond my departure. Dakota Kimbrough, Eric Johnston, and Nellie Beck. Good luck to you all. Dakota, old sport. You are a shining example that chivalry is not dead, but rather is alive and well. Please continue to conduct yourself as a gentleman, for it has done and will continue to do a lot of good for a lot of people. Eric, please keep your lighthearted humor and sharp wit. Your comedy is truly one of a kind, and I hope it follows you throughout your life. Nellie, continue to live a life full of excitement as well as driven with intention, for as I have seen, the world has always needed individuals such as yourself. And finally, a word to my fellow seniors. I've known most of you all for the duration of my time at Hawbridge, and what a journey it's been. Together we've grown, together we've watched the school change, together we depart. We're all graduating because a community of relatives, classmates, and others have helped us along the way. We couldn't have done this alone. I wish the greatest fortune to you all, my classmates and friends of these past several years. And I send gratitude to your families and friends here today for their support, love, and encouragement. Thank you all. We are the 13 graduates of 2013. And though 13 is widely acknowledged as a number of ill fortune and bad luck, I am persuaded otherwise when I look down and see the faces of my fellow graduates. Hawbridge has been a home for me, as I have said, a place that has yielded opportunities that would have otherwise been non-existent. It is with a heavy heart that I close my speech, for I know that in doing so, I am closing my career as a student at Hawbridge, a career ripe with joys, trials, and memories, a career of personal growth and development. But it's time. Time to move on, time to use the many gifts given to me at Hawbridge by the faculty, my friends, my family, my classmates. And while I know that a new chapter in my life awaits me, a chapter that will bring adventure, independence, and responsibility, I'm not sure that I'm ready to close this one. But it's not up to me, regardless of how I feel. This is it. This, dear friends, is the moment of departure. This is closing time. Thank you.